Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Michelle Gold, board chair of Los Angeles Museum of the Holocaust. Thank you all for joining us for the screening of Pavel Traubner, Portrait of the World-Renowned Neurologist. We are absolutely thrilled to have filmmaker David Minac joining us from Bratislava in Slovakia to discuss his very important film with us. Also with us today is treasured museum docent Zuzana Riemer Landres, who will teach us more about Dr. Traubner's compelling story and lead us in a conversation with David Minac about his film. Towards the end of the program, David will answer audience questions. So if you do have a question, please click on the Q&A and type your questions in there. And with that, without any further ado, I will now turn it over to Zuzana.
We will screen the film, David's film, which will take approximately 15 minutes. Since we're doing that through Zoom, please excuse the quality, possibly lower quality of the screening. And it will have English subtitles. At the end of the screening, we'll have further conversation with David. We'll ask questions and hopefully he will offer wonderful creative answers. And we will also give space for you to ask your questions as an audience. Without further ado, please, here's the film.
Dnešná mládež nemá šajnu o tom, čo bol holokaust. Vaši príslušníci spochybňujú ho a vy sám ste spochybnil existenciu 6 miliónov židovských obetí.
Hovoríte len o jednej jedinej menšine, o jednom jedinom etniku. Stále je to židovský holokaust, židovské obete. Či si to tí Židia predsa len nespôsobili tak trošku sami.
Narodil som sa v nie veľmi príjemnom období. Narodil som sa 2. mája 1941 v mestečku Ilava, teda v období, keď už celou Európou sa valilo fašistické nebezpečie. V deň, keď som sa narodil, prišli predstavitelia gardy a vojaci. Robili ťažkú domovú prehliadku do postele, v ktorej ležala moja mamička po porode, pichali bajonetmi, lebo hľadali zlato, ktoré Židia nesmeli vlastniť. Keď som mal 8 dní, tak moja mamička išla so mnou k lekárovi. Bola strašná zima. A stretla šéfa Hlinkovej gardy.
Svina jedna židovská!
Nie, nechajte moje dieťa!
Daj to sem! Rýchlo! Kožuchy ste mali už dávno odovzdať!
Maminka v šoku utekala s polonahým dieťaťom domov a ja som si to odnesol zápalom pľúc. V apríli 1942 začali transporty Židov z Ilavy do Osvienčimu. Vtedy sme ešte nevedeli, že skoro na istú smrť. Naša rodina bola varovaná na poslednú chvíľu v noci, že je veľmi zle. Že nás na druhý deň majú naložiť do byčieho vagóna. Otecko zorganizoval konský povoz, ktorým sme sa dostali do Zlíchova a potom sme išli ďalej do Valacko-Belianských hôr, kde žila rodina Sýkorovcov.
Moja babka bola hlboko veriaca, kresťanka, katolíčka. Ubytovala Traubnerových u seba doma, ale udal ju niekto. Boli ľudia, ktorí jej dali avizo. vykopali jamu a tam premiestnili celú túto 6-člennú rodinu. Gestapo prišlo, pýtali sa, že kde sú tí, čo ich schováva. Mala v ruke pátričky, klakla si pred krížom a prisahala, že nikoho neschováva.
Že bola bohabojná, mala z toho depresie a až jej kňaz povedal: pani Sikorová, keď ste zachránili len jeden ľudský život, tak ste sa žiadneho hriechu nedopustili.
Vy ste tu maličký ešte bol.
Strašne sme strádali. Zima, strach, nedostatok jedla. Moja maminka bola vychudnutá na 35 kg. Žili sme tak, že v tej jame sme spali tak, že na spodu ležal môj deduško, na ňom som ležal ja a na vrchu ležala maminka, aby mi nebolo zima, aby som nezmrzol. Mal som na sebe jeden sveter, ktorý som za 9 mesiacov nevyzliekol. Vojsť do tej jamy, ktorá bola prekrytá čečinou, plytkej napriek tomu, bol to pocit, ako keby sme navždy odchádzali do hrobu. V každej minúte nám išlo o život, pretože Nemci, ale i gardisti nám boli v petách. Prirodzený strach nás všetkých ovládol, lebo 2 kilometre od nás podobne umiestnené židovskú rodinu kompletne vystrelali v počte 8 ľudí. Po skončení vojny v máji 1945 návrat do mojho rodného mesta nebol nejaký úžasný, ale bol šťastný, pretože sme žili. A rodičia mi hovorili, buď šťastný, pretože si mohol rovnako nežiť ako stovky a tisícky ďalších. My sme mali pocit, že sme vyhrali. Vyhrali sme, pretože sme žili. Naša rodina bola veľmi obľúbená. Môj otec bol jeden nesmierne slušný, ochotný stomatolog, vždy stojaci k dispozícii svojim pacientom. Nikdy nebol problém, aby vyšetril, aj keď mal 70 pacientov v ambulancii, a to som vždy obdivoval. Nikdy nereptal proti tomu, že ho aj v noci zobudili a ja som si povedal, že ja chcem byť takým lekárom. Na medicíne sa mi veľmi páčilo. Nastúpil som za sekundárneho lekára na patológiu, takže som videl dôsledky aj nesmiernej starostlivosti lekárov, ale aj som si tam zistil, kde sa nemám dať operovať, pretože odtiaľ privážajú najviac pacientov na patológiu. Keď som nastúpil na kliniku, doviezli 18-ročnú krásnu Vietnamku, než som stačil pacientku dovyšetrovať. Zomrelo. A to sa mi hlboko zarilo do pamäti a bol som strašne nešťastný dosť dlhú dobu, že som nedokázal v prvej službe pacientke zachrániť život.
Urobíme vám ultrazvukové vyšetrenie mozgových prívodných ciev. Nie je to bolestivé, takže...
Už v roku 1968 som pracoval na prvom ultrazvukovom prístroji, ktorý bol tzv. A-scan, na základe ktorého sa mohlo bez otvorenia lebky dokumentovať, že ide o krvácanie alebo o nádor.
Výborne.
Ja som bol v 68. v Tübingene, v tedajšom západnom Nemecku. Ponúkli mi miesto na neurologickej klinike. To miesto bolo tak honorované, že tá suma predstavovala ročný plat na Slovensku. Pravidelne som telefonoval rodičom z toho Nemecka a otec si neprial, aby som sa vrátil, lebo on videl veľmi dobre situáciu, ktorá na Slovensku sa vyvíjala. Otec začal chorlavieť, preto som mal pocit, že je moja morálna povinnosť podporiť maminku a pomáhať môjmu oteckovi. Ja som sa vrátil 25. augusta 1968. Keď som prechádzal cez hranice, tak na rakúskej strane bolo asi 5000 ľudí na tých plochách, na tých trávnikoch a ja som sa asi ako 6. Slovák vracal. Ešte sa aj colníci divili. V roku 1969 prišiel za mnou jeden zvláštny pacient. Človek, ktorý mi strašne niekoho pripomínal.
Pán doktore, mi strašne zle bolí ma hlava, mám závrate. Neviem, čo mám robiť. Prosím vás, pomôžte mi.
To bol bývalý šéf linkovej gardy, to zo mňa stiahol fúsak. Napriek tomu plním si Hippokratovú prísahu, som ho vyšetril a pomohol som mu. Ani som mu nepripomenul, že mi bolo zima. Lekár naozaj má v rukách život pacienta. Musí mať pocit, že to nie je ani zamestnanie, ani povolanie, ale že je to poslanie.
Pán profesor, včera ma seklo v krížoch, mám prudké bolesti.
Manželka prestala riadne vidieť, mám rákoty.
Pán doktor, moja manželka odpadla.
Strašne ma bolí srdce, skoro vôbec nevidím.
Má vykrivené ústa. Neviem ho prebudiť, ako keby nedýchal.
Mám závrať a mám iskrenie pred očami.
Tak sa bojím.
Prosím, urobte niečo.
Pavel Traubner je človek, keď mu niekto zavolá, dvihne a pomáha. To sa mi stalo osobne, keď som zavolal Pavlovi Traubnerovi, že mi umiera mama. On mi pomohol a ona žila ďalších 15 rokov.
Mal som príhodu srdečnú, moja žena zavolala mu, prišla sanitka, dokonca ma operovali, jedna lekárka stála na chodbe a hovorila mu: Palo, to je úžasné, ty si na to prišiel. Bol vždy známy ako skvelý diagnostik. Tak ako zachránil život môjmu otcovi, tak to urobil aj mne. Skrátka, ostalo to v rodine.
Servus, Ľubko!
Moja žena dobehla s plačom, povedala, naša Ľubka sa už možno nedožije rána.
Okamžite sme zorganizovali aj transport.
Proste si v tej chvíli hneď vedel, čo treba robiť. Si jej zachránil život.
To je úplná rozkoš nechať sa vyšetriť u môjho priateľa Pavla Traubnera. Niekde mi tým kladívkom klepkal a povedal, že pseudo-Hoffman vpravo. To si pamätám. Má skoro až taký tlak na toho pacienta, že toto treba robiť. A niekedy mám taký pocit, že si to jeho uzdravenie naozaj želá viac on ako ten pacient.
No, servus. Rád ťa vidím, servus.
Moja mama trpela na srdce. Neusmiala sa, hádam, 3/4 roka. Akurát, keď jej bolo povedano, dievča, a teraz sa mi prebehnite. A mama sa strašne začala smiať a povedala, že tak, dievča, to mi teda už nikto nepovedal, asi 40 rokov a hneď jej bolo lepšie, no.
Na pánovi profesorovi si vážim hlavne jeho obrovskú dávku človečiny a empatie, s ktorou pristupuje teda k svojmu poslaniu.
To slovo človečina sa mi nesmierne páči, ďakujem zaň. Ale súvisí to s tým, ako som prežil svoje detstvo. Bolo to ťažké a preto som sa rozhodol, že celý život musím byť človekom.
Pavel je veľmi človečenský, že on chápe toho človeka, to znamená, on je umelec. On vie spojiť tú vedomosť s tou nadstavbou, ktorá je umenie. A v tom je geniálny.
Keď sa stretneme na nejakej akcii, kde sú zákusky, ty vystriehneš vždy takú chvíľu, keď sa tvoja manželka Katka nedíva a zješ zákusok. A to ty nesmieš, pretože ti to tvoje zdravie nedovoluje.
Ďakujeme.
Ďakujem pekne.
Ľubko, vyzerá to veľmi príťažlivo, len keby toto videla moja manželka.
Ale však to nie je také zase, však to je tuším ešte len tretia.
Veľmi dobré.
Palo, nie, že si zoberieš ešte. Palo, však teraz som ti hovorila, že to nemáš jesť.
Mám ho rada, lebo je dobrý a múdry.
Mojím víťazstvom je i to, že mám skvelú rodinu, ktorú som rovnako nemusel mať ako práve 1 000 000 detí, ktoré vo vojne zahynuli.
Wow, that's very impressive. So, David, thank you for this memorable film. I do want to mention that it's not only memorable for us, but you recently received a prestigious award here in the US. I believe it's called the Remy Award, and you received it recently. Unfortunately, you were not able to come and receive it in person. We all know that COVID is to blame for everything, but at least we have opportunity to do so, to share it now. I know that it was screened last year in a Slovak TV, so some of us had opportunity to see it as well. What's outstanding about this film is, I believe, Dr. Traubner's humanity and his genuine care and involvement in other people's lives. Tell us in your own words a little bit about this film and why now?
As I said, it's very important to me to share the history of Holocaust, what was happening here in Slovakia, especially, and for the young people, and to show it the entertaining way. And for a good film, you need to have an excellent actor, even Academy Award-winning actor. And for me, that's Pavel, because he is such an amazing character. He loves life. He's passionate. There is never any boring moment with him. He's always telling jokes. It's very funny to film with him because we were having this filming day and we were setting up all the cameras, and it's very expensive to make a film. So we set up the scene and we focused, and suddenly Pavel disappeared. So we were searching for him. Where the hell did he go? So, and basically we learned the truth. And for me, I was kind of shocked because, the money was going to waste because we couldn't film. But he went to the hospital and he actually saved life. So instead of making the film, he chose to save someone's life, and it was very important for me to learn. I was a bit angry, you know, as a filmmaker.
I believe making films is your mission. Saving lives is Dr. Traubner's mission.
But for me, he's a big hero because he's not self-focused. You know, he didn't care whether there will be more in the film of him, or you know, he wants to say this. He only saves lives and helps people. And I learned the world is divided into two groups, and the first group are the Pavel's patients, and the second group are Pavel's future patients. Because really, when we were making the film, even like half of my crew, they asked him, you know, I have headaches and I can't sleep, and he said, no problem. Next Monday, come to me at 8 o'clock. I said, no, next Monday we are filming. Okay, so Tuesday. And he has these 3 phones in his pocket, 3 mobile phones, and they are always ringing. So I couldn't film because it was always ringing and making noise. But really, he picks up the phone even in the middle of the night, and he's willing to go to the patient, to go to the hospital, because today, you know, the doctors are, you call them after 6 o'clock, you know, it's over, so call me the next day, or they don't pick up the phone. But Pavel is willing to sacrifice his free time, and he's willing to go anywhere, and he really saves so many people. I learned that as I met these people, as I met the people in the film, he really saved them. He saved their lives. He saved their parents, their daughters, their sons. He's, you know, I love American superheroes, and as a child, I love Spider-Man. So now I have Spider-Man and I have Pavel. So he's my new hero. So it was the greatest experience of my life. I love it. I loved it. Yeah.
It sounds that way. Thank you, David. It sounds that he's not only, Dr. Traubner is not only hero because of his personal story and because of his family history. He is hero in young people's eyes because he's somebody who's focused on other people's lives. And I grew up surrounded as a child. I also grew up in former Czechoslovakia, in Slovakia. And I also grew up surrounded by doctors. A very formative one was my grandfather, who was a surgeon. And it's a type of a person that's they consider their mission not only as doctors but as human beings, and I think it's admirable. And you can see from this film, it comes through. It's a personality we called larger than life personality. So tell me, David, I know about you that you were born in Hamburg, Austria. You grew up in Czech Republic, Slovakia. You finished your studies in England, and now you just received your Remy Award, which kind of puts you into the same category as Steven Spielberg. Tell me, where is home for you? What does home mean to you?
I said at the beginning that as I was born in Austria, I lived in Slovakia, then I lived in Czech, and then I again moved to England. I feel kind of nowhere at home, and at the same time everywhere at home. And I love to visit new places, and I love the UK, I love London, and I love US. I've been a couple of times in LA, in New York, and I'm considering myself a world citizen, and of course I would like to live in Israel for some time in future. So I have a big schedule.
Why in Israel?
I've been to Israel also a couple of times, and you know, it's really Eden, it's paradise, and the people you meet there, it's so inspirational. You know, in Slovakia there are not many Jews. So there it was really like a paradise to meet people who you can talk about the same topics and about the same history. And I would like to also, I am proud Jew, and I would like to more, really, I try sometimes to celebrate Shabbat and so, but really to have some period where I would take it more seriously. So, and I also learn more about the history and really to have it from first hand.
Wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit more about filming? And during the filming, I'm sure you had many inspiring moments. Were there any moments that surprised you, unexpected, or particularly difficult while you were filming this film?
It's a very difficult topic because there is so much to tell. So you really have to select, and you have to cut a lot of interesting stories and facts. But basically, you need to focus. I love feature films and feature film storytelling. So we really follow the story, and nothing may come in the way. What comes in the way, it needs to be just cut. And it's really like it, when you are in the editing room, you feel so bad and depressed, and you like this, but there are so many other interesting stories, and so it's always difficult to make a choice. And of course, because it's very controversial topic here with the Slovak history, and so to make it really, especially like I said, for the young people, to make it entertaining way. So that's why I reenacted the scene where Pavel's mother goes with a small child, and the guardsman, he takes her and he takes the fur from the child. And the child actually eventually became sick, and Pavel almost died. So I really wanted to show the young audience the way that they can feel it. They can feel it on emotional level, and so they can learn from it. So I was making these choices. So.
Thank you. Could you perhaps tell us a little bit more how I noticed that you were filming also in Ilava, which is the place of birth for Dr. Traubner. He was born in very difficult times, as we know. He was born in May 1941, when Slovakia was, Slovak state specifically was a puppet state of independent state, but puppet state of Nazi Germany. And Slovakia, as we know, was very eager and very early when it came to deporting their own citizens, Jewish citizens. In Slovakia, I believe Slovakia had one of the first transports of their own citizens as early as March and April in 1942. And local Jewish community had very few options. One of them was to go into hiding. One of them was, there were local concentration camps, such as the one in Sered, and many of them were deported. So can you tell us a little bit more about what was your own experience with this part of the history? What did you know? What surprised you? And how were you able to transform that and include that into the film that we just seen?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Well, since my childhood, I met with many different opinions, and still, when there are not many Jews here, but many people think the Jews are bad, and they have different opinions about them. And so until today, there are many different opinions on the history. And the truth was that the Slovaks, they were actually, because the Germans that time didn't want so much to take the Slovak Jews, but the Slovaks, they were, they really wanted to take their properties, their houses. and so they paid for the transports. And that's how the Jews actually were transported to this dead zones. What is very, it's a black spot on the history of the country. And the thing is that that time the leader was a religious figure, so many priests and so joined him, and basically it's kind of, it meant for the whole history it happened, people kind of feel it, but at the same time there is a force to erase it somehow. And I feel until the day the country will not face the history, it can't really cure itself. So it's a very difficult topic, of course. When there was some market of the film, I read some comments on the internet, and the people were saying, "Oh, this is all lie. The Jews are responsible for everything," because as you've seen in the film, in the beginning of the film, there are these neo-Nazi groups, and they basically want, to fight the history. So I'm not. It was difficult really to. I wanted to make it right so people will understand it. So I don't know if it's a good answer, and I hope that the people like the film, and hopefully they will learn from it.
I think the film shows that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm listening.
The film is very good at expressing that. And here at the LA Museum of the Holocaust, we often work with students and young people. I think it's a very important part of the mission, not only to commemorate, but also to educate the next generation. You and I are both the next generation. We're both it's what we call 3G, the third generation of Holocaust survivors. We both grew up with survivors in our own families. Can you tell us a little bit more about, and what I'm trying to say is that comes not only with certain trauma, family trauma, but it also comes with very, very crucial responsibility of remembering and passing the message of remembrance, tolerance, and upstanding to the next generation. Can you tell us a little bit more about your experience working with young people? Do you happen to know who is the audience in Slovakia, and whether your film was widely seen by the next generation, by students perhaps?
Yes, I got many responses on the internet, and people, messaging me and say like, "Oh, this is very interesting." They learned for the first time more facts about more historical facts. So this really felt so good for me, because this was really the mission of the film. And I was even offered, we were discussing it, that maybe the film should go to schools, and with Pavel discussing it, and to really take the young audience, even as the primary school children. So Definitely. He would go there, and he would explain the history in entertaining way, because he can't do otherwise. He's always entertaining, so that's great. And I was really looking forward to it, but this coronavirus came, so everything is now put on hold, and we'll see what happens in autumn.
Thank you, David. You're a wonderful storyteller. You have been surrounded your whole childhood by storytelling in its different forms. Your father, David Minac, being a very successful director, your grandmother, who's a Holocaust survivor, is a photographer. I'm wondering, you as a young man had a chance to meet various interesting people, including Dr. Traubner, but also Sir Nicholas Winton. As many of us know, Nicholas Winton was a British citizen, a man who, as it turned out, organized and saved kinder transports, and therefore was able to save many hundreds of children's lives. You were, I believe, a teenager when you had a chance to meet him. Can you tell us a little bit about who inspires you, and perhaps a little bit about your conversation with Sir Nicholas Winton?
The most inspiring thing was that he always told jokes. He couldn't say anything normal. Everything was, when he said that he orders at the restaurant, they ask him to pay up front because they're afraid that he's going to die, because at the time he was only 95 years old, a young man. And he was always making fun, and he had incredible mind. One day I was at his house, and I knew that there were stories about him that he can recite by memory Shakespeare, because he loved Shakespeare. He went to all the plays and he knew all the books. So I said, like, this can't be true. So I took Hamlet from his shelf and I opened it and I started one sentence, and he went on for like 2 pages. So I was like, oh my God, he has such an incredible memory. And that time he was 96. And he basically, that was one of his weapons also during the time when he was saving the children, this humor, because those were such a dark times. And many people told him, you can't do this, it's impossible, and why do you do this? And there were these Germans, it's dangerous. But basically this humor makes it somehow possible, because you don't take life that seriously that time, and you can move forward. And that's what my grandma told me many times, that when she was in Auschwitz, that was the darkest time of her life, and she had nightmares for decades from it.
No doubt.
But that even in such a dark place, there is a ray of light, that every night there was this woman, and she, like Winton, she knew by memory this incredible novel by Stefan Zweig, the chess novel, and they were looking forward for every night, because she was telling them the story. She was telling them chapter by chapter, and she was so excited even in this terrible place. So she said, even in the dark places you must have fun, because you wouldn't survive. So that was for me really inspiring, and also he was telling me, because really when people stop laughing, the world is going to die. that's what I feel. Yeah.
That's right. Fully
That's
agree.
what I learned from him. It's not my idea. So, but really, it's very important for people to laugh. And I see today, the news are always negative, and they are saying negative things about politics, about the coronavirus. There are so many. There is really like a wave of negativeness, of negative things coming to every day. And people, I don't know how in the US, I hope not, but here they are not laughing as probably they used to. And I think it's not good. People should laugh more. And when they laugh, they will feel better.
Definitely. Humor is a salt of life, as they say, and I think it's an incredibly powerful story that you just shared. I had a slideshow that I wanted to share with you, and it also had a picture. I am not succeeding in sharing it right now, but I'm going to describe it. So as a docent at the LA Museum of the Holocaust, we often show our students and our visitors artifacts. LA Museum of the Holocaust is a very artifact-heavy museum, and every artifact tells a story. We had this incredible picture of Dr. Traubner's sweater that he wore for the duration of hiding, when he was hiding with his family. So I believe it was for 9 months while he was in hiding. He described that in your film as a very difficult, very time filled with struggle and suffering. And the sweater is this object that tells his story. It's not only a story of struggle, but it's also a story of remembrance. And today it's exhibited in Bratislava Jewish Museum as one of the mementos, as one of the artifacts. And I wanted to ask you, you talked about humor a little bit. Did you have a chance to see a movie called Jojo Rabbit?
Of course.
It's also a very difficult topic, as you know, and nevertheless, many people were very skeptical. How could you make a comedy that includes humor when it comes to that topic? Nevertheless, the humor was very much present. The movie did really well. And today, I happen to know that the Shoah Foundation, which is here in Los Angeles, is already using it as part of their teaching curriculum. Have you thought of perhaps having your film used in Slovakia, perhaps with Dr. Traubner in person, but have you thought of sharing it with the local Sered Holocaust Museum or transforming it into curriculum?
I would feel very honored. I really, it's like you say, it's this Jojo Rabbit is such an incredible film, and it's so great that they included in the curriculum, because the young people love the film, but at the same time they learn about the difficult topic. And of course, if there is opportunity, I would be so honored. So we will see what the future will hold.
It would be wonderful to see it in that form. And even though it's a very difficult topic to teach, and often it's hard to get it into, textbooks and get it into schools, I think it would be a wonderful form of using your film for the future generation. We have questions from our audience. Let me see. One moment. Technology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we're ready for audience questions. Okay. David, if there's anything that we didn't cover yet about your film and you would like to tell us about it, any funny story, anything you would like to share with us?
There are many stories, but first of all, now I would like to thank you so much, Zuzana, for making this event possible. And I would like to thank wonderful Michelle and Jill.
We will give space. We will give space for the audience questions.
Yeah, but really, I feel so privileged to have this event tonight. So thank you all. And another funny story. There are definitely many, but maybe interesting aspect of the film was that Pavel, he's such a such a big hero, and in the film you need to have always a flawed hero, because he wouldn't be interesting. But it was such a difficult thing to find some flaws on Pavel, but I found one, and he likes sweets a lot, and like you see in the film, he's always hiding from his wife, and then he goes to the kitchen and he eats a lot of chocolate and so on, and he can't because of his health. So this was for me very important to include this in the film, because that way, that when he has such a even tiny flaw, but it's a little flaw, the audience can really feel with the character, and therefore they can really get deep in the story. So it was very funny filming it, and forcing Pavel to eat more than one cake. I don't know at the end if he liked it, but cake. And so this was really important to me.
From now on, every time I'll have a cake, I'll think of Dr. Traubner. So we do have audience questions here. I'm gonna start with this one. There is a scene in the film where Pavel Traubner, following the Hippocratic Oath, cured the Slovak Nazi, saved his life. But this Nazi years ago almost killed him as a newly born child. Do you think Jews should pardon their executioners in such special circumstances? What would you have done in Pavel's place? That's a very good question.
It's an excellent question, and people ask me about this, and I always tell, probably I wouldn't be able to forgive the man. And especially when I learned that what more things the man did to his family, he took their car, and basically he made their life a living hell. And I probably wouldn't, but that what makes Pavel even greater hero, because he's really one of a kind, because he's an actor by heart. And that means that when there is a sick person, he helps him, whether he's a criminal. And so for me, he became even greater hero. But personally, I wouldn't be able to tolerate what the person did. And especially when I learned that he actually healed even the chief of the Hlinka's guard, which was the Slovak type of Gestapo. And he actually, this chief, he visited him twice, and twice he helped him. So it's really incredible, and it's always a difficult question. But as me personally, I feel that these criminals, they should face the justice. So, and it's always unfortunate when they are not caught.
Yes.
And Simon Wiesenthal did incredible things, that he actually went after them, and also other people went after these people. So
yes.
It's important then to face the justice, because
it's very important. It's very important.
And these are bad people, and usually they do more bad things after. So.
I think it's a true dilemma for many survivors and for many descendants of survivors. We're all probably familiar with the quote by Elie Wiesel saying that the opposite of love is not really hate, it's indifference, it's apathy, right? So we cannot afford apathy. We cannot afford indifference. We need to, as my grandparents used to say, zachor, remember. We need to remember, but we also have to be open and vigilant when it comes to other people's suffering.
This indifferent, yeah.
And I think that's where Dr. Traubner comes and how exceptional he is. He's not only forgiving as a person, but he's also there in very difficult situations nowadays in Slovakia when there is any sign of xenophobia or violence against either minorities. He's there, he speaks up. And I think that's what's so valuable about his story.
Yeah, he is not indifferent at all, because people would say, this will go, this will pass, these Nazi parties, they will get bored. But really, he does incredible things, because he has this group of fantastic people, and he travels around the country, and they make sessions with the schools and with the young people, and they talk about Holocaust, they bring more survivors.
Right.
And usually people listen. There was this one case when these Nazis came and attended the event, that they wanted basically to make some noise. But it's so important to have people like Pavel who are not indifferent to the history and to the current situation, and they really want to act. And even
No doubt. There's another question. We have a couple of more questions here. That's a very specific one. How did non-Jewish Slovaks react to this film when it was screened? How did David hear about Dr. Traubner? And yeah, so how did non-Jewish part of population in Slovakia responded to this film?
The part because the film has a special premiere screening, and many people came and they really liked the film, and there are so many good people in the country. You know, it's always you see one bad person and then you feel the whole country, but there are so many good people, and they want to help with the topic, and they have nothing. They are really they have nothing against Jews, nothing against gypsies, because there is a huge problem with the gypsies here, because the many people are very racist. And
they're a very vulnerable minority in Slovakia.
Very vulnerable, but many people, they go and help them. There are so many incredible people. And I felt the response was very good, but usually when you read the internet comments, they are negative, because these people, they from their flat, they just type something because they're probably, they want to be loud somehow. So usually the response was good. That's what I was.
It's good to hear that. It's good to hear that. We have several more questions, but we also have people thanking you for this incredibly powerful film, David. And the movie was exceptionally well made, and I must admit I cried. Dr. Traubner is a personal friend of mine and of my dear late mother. Did you get many responses like that? And what do you think that touches the people about your film? And
I really feel like, what do you remember from your life? Emotional moments. So really, even in the films, my favorite films are which are very emotional, because you really when you are in the emotion, you have the exact memories of smell, even sometimes taste, everything, like it's really like stored in your brain. And I feel that the emotions are very necessary to be used in the films, and more better. And I mean, when people cry, when people laugh, so you need to find some balance. And I feel that this, when I get positive responses, this is usually like they like that the film was emotional. So I'm so happy, and I'm so incredibly happy about the good response.
No doubts. David, you're truly a wonderful storyteller, and I want to say that our generation in Slovakia and in Central Europe, we're not only the ones who have an obligation to remember, but we're also people and a generation who has the obligation of being part of the renaissance of the Jewish community in Central Europe, in Slovakia, Czech Republic, Hungary. So we are the ones, even though I am not directly there, but the links and connections are strong, and we have the responsibility to maintain that Jewish life. And it's happening. It's happening. It's happening in Hungary. It's happening. The revival is happening in Slovakia, in Czech Republic. So that I consider that our responsibility. And my last question for you is, what are you working on now? And what's next for you?
I'm working on several screenplays with my father, and then I'm preparing another short films, both documentaries and feature. So it's just this coronavirus, it's stopped everything. I wanted to go into production of one in March, but nothing is happening now. So
for all of us.
But at least we are so far all healthy. So just that's the most important thing in life, to stay healthy.
And where can people see your film? Where can they find it?
When people want to watch it again, so I gave you a link, so you can share the link. And even after now, so they can rewatch it, or if it was bad quality, they can just watch it because of that. So and hopefully we'll see. So I will definitely give you an update.
Thank you. I wanted to thank everybody for giving us this wonderful opportunity. It's been such a pleasure to share it with you and with everyone present. Thank you again to the Los Angeles Museum of the Holocaust for the opportunity. And here is our Michelle.
Thank you, Zuzana. Thank you, Zuzana, and thank you, David, and to you, Zuzana. Thank you for so eloquently moderating this very, very important film. Thank you. And thank you in addition to that for all you do for the museum. You are so appreciated. So huge thanks to you. And to you, David, thank you for being with us to discuss this important film and for your insight, your sensitivity, your creativity, and for bringing Dr. Traubner's compelling story to us all. We enormously appreciate it. It's been wonderful to have you join us today. We thank you on many levels, not least on a personal level, and I think you know that. So thank you for being with us, and it's just been fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. I thank you. It was amazing. So
Good,
I feel
good.
very honored and privileged. Really.
Well, it's reciprocated back to you, David. So we thank you both. But before we sign off, I want to invite everyone to join us again next week on Tuesday, June 23rd at 11 a.m. our local time, where we will host a talk by Holocaust survivor Paul Kester. And the following day on Wednesday, June 24th at noon, please join us for a timely discussion about guns and hate in the coronavirus era with Robin Thomas, who is the Executive Director of the Giffords Law Center, and Jordana Gessler, the Vice President of Education and Exhibits at Los Angeles Museum of the Holocaust. And for listeners, for more information on our virtual events, please visit our website at lamoth.org. So once again, thank you all. Thank you, Zuzana. Thank you, David, and our fondest wishes.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.